Good morning. So, as I promised you, I'm going to take you on a little walk. It's going to be a surprise for all of us into this early Utah morning. Let's see what beautiful positive surprises are out there for us today. You see, it's a little cold after the rain, but clear sky. I'm just curious what this is up in there. Ready to go? Ready to go. See this rock? It's a pretty sizable rock, I would say, probably with a weight between 1.5 and 2 tons. Maybe more, maybe less. And I'm gonna try something. I wanna show you something. So what I wanted to show you with this rock is that even if it's huge and if you step on it, you would never think that it moves, right? So the thing is, you have rocks like this everywhere around here. You go up and you climb and you step on a rock like this size. This is only half the size of the one we just looked at. You step on it somewhere where it's like a ledge, it protrudes out or something like this. But the sheer weight of you stepping down on it might actually move it, and might not actually only make you fall down. It might cause a whole chain reaction of an earth slide, of a rock slide. So be careful, we keep going. Well, what intrigues me, among some other things, are those very kind of exact level, exactly horizontally running white lines in rock. It looks like an early snowfall. I tell you, it's not cold enough. What it is, it's the dew drops hanging in there in the leaves and forming a whole civilization of dewdrops, a whole country of a cloud, of an earth-bound cloud. In between those low-lying areas, next to this creek, low-lying areas of willow and grasses. It's amazing, isn't it? A sacred land will never end. It continues to surprise us. People come and people go by themselves, in societies, in groups, but the sacredness of the land always remains. It might shift from one place to another, but it is always there. Wherever there is earth in the universe, in all of the universes, there is sacredness. Because earth is a sacred element, created by the divine feminine and the divine masculine. And they in themselves created the four divine elements: earth, water, air, and fire. And out of these four divine elements can an alchemical process be achieved. To make steel, for example. Or what has become now almost the new element in this day and age, plastic. Usually when people think of metal, they only think of steel, but there are many, many different types of metal or metallic substances. And so from those sacredness of the four sacred elements that spring forth from God and the Great Spirit, having created divine feminine and the divine masculine, all things become possible. Very, very high up there in that wall, in that rock wall, just about where you see the kind of beige brown first rock formation sitting on top of those more lightly and then kind of more brownish orangish ochre kind of horizontally running layers of rock. So just above there I can spot some ancient an ancient wall, and it's a granary from people who lived out here ages ago. Storage place for food. So you know where this, you have those three darkish blackish kind of vertical lines running down, and it's counting from the right, 1, 2, 3 to the left. It's right where this third black line runs down from the first layer of kind of light colored brown rock onto the layer of horizontally flowing rock. It's right up there. And then the sun comes up over Santa Monica Boulevard. If I would be living out here 300,000 years ago, or in 300,000 years, or in 3,000 years, or in 300 years, or 300 years ago, where would I live? How would I live? Well, since millions of years, at least in my book, it has been kind of the same. And maybe thousands or tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands or even millions of generations of maybe, hopefully, peaceful people lived peaceful existences out here. At least all the way until a band of criminals called Christoph Columbus and others were heading this way. And changed things. Yeah, I can hear someone already arguing that, yes, if they wouldn't have arrived, I wouldn't be here, couldn't enjoy it with the technology, blah 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 blah. That's all a lie, because before they came, life was possible here, maybe in the same way, maybe with technology that is just being rediscovered, refound right now. And maybe it all existed in a much more sophisticated way, in a much more culturally kind and emotionally gentle way. It's simply not true that the people who lived here before were primitives. Whoever says that, it's the biggest lie ever invented. Only someone who is not connected with the highest. Only someone doesn't have a clue what God is. The divine architect of the universe could come up then with anything like that. The divine is always divine, period. If anyone writes a book about it and claims it was dictated by a higher force, that may be so. But there are many higher forces than man, and some of them might not be benevolent at all. Some others might. And as long man doesn't know where the source of this transmission comes from, or where the source of this transmission is heading to, yeah, doubtful. So it's better to connect directly to the divine. See this big black stripe, kind of straight ahead, kind of a little bit on the right, running down the smooth face of this huge rock, and you come over a little bit further, judging from here maybe 75-80 feet, just on the bottom edge of this smooth rock. There are three figures painted over there onto the rock. Just 3. So for the moment I'm gonna take it as the law of 3. You know, first there is God, the Absolute, the divine architect of the universe, all the universes, and this is the law 1. And the law of 1 splits into 3. It's the divine masculine, the divine feminine, and the Great Spirit. And maybe that's the message what they left. Well, who knows? I could try to get a little closer, but from one point of view, I'm close enough. So if I would be living here in the past, or like in the past, or like in the future, all this word salad, so to say, that kind of sometimes means something and sometimes it means nothing, if one puts it into a larger perspective, right? So which valley would I go to gather food? This one over there, or would I go into this one over there? Or would I walk that way? Would I have a garden and a place where the bees make honey for me, for my family, for my fellow citizens of this natural community? What kind of vegetables would I grow? Would I maybe find enough food just growing by itself that I could gather and eat? This is that's a tricky one, because it has very sharp needles. On the other hand, it's nice. So I try not to get in contact with the needles, and I open it. So I open it, and then the beautiful fruit still got a little needle in my thumb, and they're so tiny one can't see it. There's some stuck in my finger. Can you see them? So, and even though they're so tiny and thin or thinner as a human hair, they can hurt quite a bit. This is how one of the seeds inside the fruit looks. Plenty of food out here, at least today. Don't know if I would want to eat this every day, but there's also a lot of stuff that I have no clue that it exists out here. I think there's salmon or trout in the little creek, and maybe there are many roots and numerous other things that one can eat if one knows how to look for it. And where would I build my home for me and my family, my loved ones out here? Would I have a place of worship, of praise? Would I build a church, a temple, a shrine, a synagogue? Or would I already have a great complexity of understanding that everything out here is the synagogue? The whole place is the temple of divine worship, a shrine to the holy, to the divine, and a chapel to the sacredness of the moment. Everything already is. So would I still feel the need to build a special place that is more special than all of what God has created already? Yeah, maybe I could have a personalized space where I put some things, some memories, and maybe some objects that I find out here, and they are kind of unusual, and make it more of a personalized space, like a sacred within the sacred. So maybe I would do that. Time would tell. And the more one can let go of time personally, the more one is told. The more one can let go of a scheduled existence or a calendarized existence, a penciled in form of living, the more one can see and find out for oneself there's a whole different way of existing. A gentle, peaceful pace. Because if one stops believing in time, there's no rush anymore. How can there? No time, no rush. One can't say I don't have any time anymore, because one has all the time in the world. One is beyond time. That's where timelessness begins. And isn't timelessness the threshold of the door to eternity? And isn't eternity the place where God lives? See, you might believe that today is the 10th of September. I don't believe that. What I do believe and know is that today is the best day of my life, filled with the most beautiful, unexpected, positive, productive, profitable surprises. I think I found my synagogue, my chapel, my shrine, my temple, my cathedral for the day, and remain in constant prayer. It seems like the earth itself, herself, has an eye open over there. Maybe if one sits here and meditates or goes in deep prayer, maybe this is a place of entering the inside of the divine earth, dear mother of earthly existence. How many more paintings and markings have been here on those ancient rock walls, and how many have been washed down by the ages, broken off by the frosts in winter. Sometimes it's good to know, and sometimes it's good to not know, to keep the mysterious aspect of the divine God Absolute, the architect of our universe, alive, and to just stay in the sacred moment. There are fish in there. I just saw some zipping by. I'm tempted to go for a little dip myself.